All right, it is 7 o'clock on this October 11th. I will call to order this council meeting, Town of Farmville. Recognize there is a quorum present. And thank everybody for being here. Thank you, everybody in the audience and those online. Welcome to Professor Hodges' political science class. We're glad to have y'all. Also take note that there is no town clerk tonight and also no executive assistant for the town manager tonight. So town manager, Mr. Scott Davis, will be handling all of those duties, hopefully agilely as he moves back and forth. And with that, we will move into a roll call. Can we have a roll call, please, Mr. Davis?
Here. 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 Here.
Here.
I'm here. Thanks. Nobody ever calls on me. Next item on the agenda is the invocation. I will say that, in previous times, we would have various members of the religious community leaders come and do invocations. And it became a little bit of a stress point for the town clerk, lining all of them up. So I had told her at one point that I would take on the invocation responsibilities and do the Lord's Prayer. I received some notice. Somebody was questioning the usefulness or something, the legality, the usefulness of that. So I would like to stress tonight, we are going to once again do the Lord's Prayer. I will most likely lead it. Well, I will lead it, and not most likely. And you're welcome to join, but there's absolutely no pressure to join. You can sit, you can walk outside, you can come back in afterwards, whatever you prefer. But we will do the invocation, and then we will follow it with Vice Mayor Reed leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, thank you. First item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Do we have anybody who wishes to change anything in the agenda, or do I hear a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Next item is recognition for certification award received. I believe Chief Ellington is going to speak to this.
Good evening, everyone. Mr. Mayor, members of council, I am extremely proud to be in front of you tonight to recognize Deputy Chief Bill Hogan. Farmville Police Department's Deputy Chief Bill Hogan has been recognized as a certified law enforcement command executive through the Virginia Association of Chiefs of Police during the annual conference last month. The certification program encourages police executives to obtain and maintain established benchmarks of accomplishment to achieve and recommended standard for police leadership in the Commonwealth of Virginia. In order to qualify for this certification, recipients must be a member of the VACP in good standing, be in their position for a minimum of 1 year, meet formal education requirements, pursue professional development training designed specifically for law enforcement supervisors, commanders, and executives, and serve the community on volunteer boards and committees. Deputy Chief Hogan has formally met all necessary requirements, and this certification recognizes his continued commitment and professional growth within the law enforcement profession. Bill serves on multiple law enforcement committees and programs, including as Secretary of the Heart of Virginia Law Enforcement Foundation, past President of the Piedmont Law Enforcement Association, and past President of the Prince Edward County Triad. Beyond his professional service, Bill also contributes to his community as a 20-year active member of the Pamplin Volunteer Fire Department, past president and board member, as an adult Sunday school teacher and elder at Elder and Walker's Evangelical Presbyterian Church, and as a member of the Appomattox County Board of Supervisors, representing the Appomattox River District. The certification obtained by Bill adds to the department's credibility and accountability alongside our being an accredited agency through the Virginia Law Enforcement Professional Standards Commission, VALEPSI. The Farmville Police Department is currently working on our 4th accreditation cycle, having been approved by VALEPSI for the past 12 years. I am thrilled Deputy Chief Hogan was able to obtain this certification. One of my goals as the chief of the department has been to make us one of the premier law enforcement agencies in the region. Along with our accreditation status, this is another step in the direction and shows that we truly adhere to our mission of providing a safe and secure community through excellence in public service. Congratulations, Bill. Thank y'all.
Absolutely. Thank you, Deputy Chief Hogan. Congratulations. And I was at the Mayor's Institute this past week, and we had a brief on the VACP certification program, and it was a great moment of pride and joy to see as it flashed across people who had just recently been certified to see your name up there. So thank you for the work you put in.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the declaration of personal interest. Does anybody have any declarations to make at this time? Not hearing any, we will move into the public hearings portion of the agenda. The first public hearing is for ordinance number 226, amending section 22-25 of Article 2 of Chapter 22 and adding section 22-25.1 of Article 2 of Chapter 22 of the Farmville Town Code. Do we have anybody signed up to speak to that, Mr. Davis?
No, sir.
Anybody in the chambers wish to speak to that? Not hearing anyone, we will close that public hearing. Next public hearing is Resolution 2023-10-02, transferring budgeted funds from FY 2022 to 2023 to FY 2023 to 2024 in the General Fund, Street Maintenance Fund, Water Fund, Sewer Fund, Transportation Fund, and Airport Fund. Do we have anyone signed up to speak to that? Anyone in the chambers wish to speak to that? Not hearing anyone, we will close that public hearing. The next public hearing is Resolution 2023-10-03, amending the 2023-2024 town budget. Do we have anyone speak to that, Mr. Davis? Anyone in the chambers wish to speak to that? Not hearing anyone, we will close that public hearing. Next item is the public comment period. Do we have anyone signed up? Public comment? Yes, we do on the phone. Getting good at this over there. Quick. I'll remind folks that we give you 3 minutes to speak. Please address the body as a whole.
Okay, they got me next.
Yes, you can begin.
Hi, my name is Jessica Maxwell. I'm a senior policy analyst with the National Immigrant Justice Center. On behalf of my colleagues and thousands of individuals that NIJC serves every year, I want to express strong support for people who have experienced ICE detention and the Virginia communities that continue to call on the Farmville Town Council to end its complicity in inhumane immigration detention system. ICA Farmville is a tragic illustration of the inhumanity, impunity, and cover-up for systemic abuses that permeate the immigration detention system. Senior federal immigration officials recommended that ICA Farmville be closed or scaled back last year, but instead, ICE and ICA are pushing for the facility to continue, and documents obtained through public records requests show that in September, the town of Farmville secretly extended the facility's contract without public meeting or notice. The short-term renewal of the contract exposes the secret dealings that keep the detention facility in operation. Last month, after hearing impassioned testimonies from local students and immigrant rights advocates, the council passed a unanimous motion to look into the ramifications of not signing the contract on the table with ICE, and the council members expressed frustration that they were kept in the dark about the contract and didn't even receive a copy until the afternoon of September 13th. The council members agreed that they could not sign a contract without proper review. Internal emails also show that the town manager told the company, ICA, on September 13th they could not sign the extension without approval by the entire town council. But instead of following through on the unanimous motion to look into the ramifications of not signing the contract, the town manager and mayor signed a 2-week extension on September 15th after meeting with ICA officials and communicating with ICE contracting officers in secret. And then they signed another extension on September 21st for 6 months, again in secret, without any public discussion or debate. The secretive process raises a number of questions that should be answered in public. What happened to the feasibility study? And why are the town mayor and manager signing contract extensions in secret without any public discussion or apparent approval from the town council? The town mayor and council should hold a public meeting to allow for public input and a vote and move forward with greater transparency. Advocates continue to demand the closure of ICA Farmville and release all people currently detained in the facility. It's up to the town council to ensure that Farmville conducts public business with transparency and take real measures to end its complicity in abusive immigration detention system. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else signed up on the phone, Mr. Davis?
No, that's all.
We have in-person public comment participants.
We do. Next is Flora G. Lopez Trejo.
Welcome.
Hi, good evening. So we meet again, right? And you will keep seeing me here, and you will keep seeing and hearing from many of us until this is resolved. I want to highlight, again, just a reminder for everyone that might be hearing online, here present, I am a community organizer, an immigrant community organizer. I work at Legal Aid Justice Center, and I also am a member of the Freedom of Virginia Coalition. We have been doing a lot of work to support safety and freedom of people, because that's a right that we all have. And it's not for sale. Like our freedom, our safety are not for sale. It should not be something that people profit off and make money off. And I guess I just want to also like highlight, Jesse made some comments just now over the phone, and I want to highlight on some of those points. So, yeah. I have here, right, a copy that we obtained through FOIA documentation. And it shows that a contract was signed to extend the contract with the ICA facility, detention center, until the end of March of next year. And I just have a lot of questions. And I'm very curious because this doesn't feel consistent with the messages that we received last month here. Last month, you had here people from Longwood University, from UVA University, and many members from the coalition and supporters that are asking you to just end this contract, to not extend it, to let it expire, to just end it. And regardless of that, and regardless that towards the end of the meeting, you all unanimously vote to go ahead and make a research about what it means to withdraw from this contract. It seemed like you were trying to send us a message that your interest and desire was to not extend this contract. Yet, however, I have here the town manager, Mr. Davis, went ahead and signed an extension, first for 2 weeks and now for 6 months. And I just have a lot of questions about why that's happening. Why is it that what you communicated last month on the public meeting in front of everyone that was here present was something that led people and along with the students and Farmville residents and led us to believe that your intention was to, in effect, end that contract and not continue to sign any more extensions. And then extensions are being signed. And also, who is approving those extensions, right? Like, how is that process happening? Is this supposed to be something that should be a transparent process? Something that people should know about? Like, do all council members are in approval of these extensions? Did you all have votes for that? When did that happen? How did that happen? Because we were not aware of public meetings, any emergency public meetings that we had an opportunity to come and give public comment, that Longwood University students had an opportunity to come and show up and give comment about what we think about these decisions that you all are making. And also, again, like, are you even making these decisions together, right? So, like, I think that I'm concerned with what we perceive to be lies. Because there's one thing of what it said and another thing of what it's done. And I want to remind you again that we will continue to come back every single month until this is ended. You have the capacity to end that contract now. We don't have to wait those 6 months.
Ms. Trejo, your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else signed up to speak at this time?
Ms. Sarah Maddox.
Thank you for allowing me to come. As each of you know, that I'm the CEO of the Piedmont Area Veterans Council, and I want the town to know that I'm very, very thankful of you supporting us and continuing to provide us a place so that we have stability and we're able to help our veterans. Since the last time I was here, we've increased our services. We now have an MOU with for Vietnam vets where we're providing grants for remodels for their bathroom, roofs, generators. I think we've done a little over $3 million in the last 4 months in just grants for Vietnam veterans in our counties. We visited with Purple Heart Homes in Statesville, North Carolina last month, and we're hoping that the town of Farmville will become a chapter, that our office will become a chapter for Purple Heart Homes. Purple Heart Homes offers affordable housing for veterans. They have a veterans program where they can assist in paying for a home, for a tiny home for a veteran. They have another program that's called Veterans Aging in Place, which allows veterans to have repairs done through their home or purchase vans. We work with Help Our Military Heroes with veterans that are amputees. Most of the time when they need a van, it's close to $100,000. That's not something that we can do by ourselves. So we network with other agencies and other nonprofits to make sure that the veteran gets what they need. We still remain at the same, our numbers have increased. I will tell you that. We were seeing about 300 to 400 people a month. We're at probably over 600 calls for assistance. We've had to turn away people that are not in our coverage area because we just don't have the staff to support them. We do cover, as each of you probably already know, Appomattox, Amelia, Buckingham, Cumberland, Charlotte, Nottaway, Lunenburg, and Prince Edward in the town of Farmville. And we are volunteer staff. We have very dedicated volunteers, one who's with me, Sergeant Major Randolph, Vietnam veteran. We take a lot of pride in our work, and it wouldn't be possible without you. That's all I can say is I thank you. Our veterans thank you. I don't know what else and how to ever repay this town or this county or the other counties that we serve other than keep doing what we're doing and we make a difference. And we would not be able to do that without you. And I thank you for supporting us. Any questions? Because I talk fast. I'm a terrible public speaker. I hate to speak. I like to do the work.
Thank you. We appreciate what you and the council do for our veterans.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. We have anyone else signed up to speak at this time, Mr. Davis?
Our last speaker is Jake Romaine.
And he is a sharp-dressed man tonight with gifts.
I just wanted to say thank you guys from the Farmville Downtown Partnership for supporting us on Rock the Block. It was a great event. And we have a work plan coming out for 2024 that we'll be presenting over the next couple of town council meetings for you guys. So any questions? I think everybody knows how to get a hold of me. So just let me know. I'll just go ahead and pass these out.
Yes, that's fine. Thank you. Do we have anyone else signed up at this time, Mr. Davis?
No, sir.
Do we have anyone else in the chambers who wishes to speak at this time? Not hearing any, we will close the public comment period. I will address some of the ICA stuff here at the end in my town or in my mayor's report at the end of the meeting. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Do we have anyone who wishes to change anything in the consent agenda, or do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second. Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Next item on the agenda is the finance report. Ms. Julie Moore.
Good evening. So you have a bunch of reports this month. I mean, tonight, normally you would get some last week, but we didn't have work session. So because of that, I'm going to go over the work session reports first and then the report that I would have just normally reported on tonight. So the work session reports are on August. So for revenue, overall total income should be about 17% of what the budget is at this point in the year. However, when you compare the year-to-date revenue to the 2 months of budget revenue, we're not at that point. But there's several factors that cause this. One is the taxes and business licenses are not collected monthly, but at a specific point in time during the year. So these are not going to show up in actual revenue, whereas in the budget, we're assuming a 17% of taxes and business licenses were collected in August. For street maintenance fund, we only receive these payments quarterly. We've not received the first payment and won't until September. The water and sewer funds are down compared to the budget due to ARPA revenue being included in our budgeted numbers, and we've not recognized any ARPA funds yet in fiscal year 24. And the airport fund is down actual revenues because that's based on reimbursement requests and ongoing projects. When you compare current revenue to prior year, we're slightly up for 2 months ended, and that's due mainly to the general fund. The general fund is up due to meals, lodging, and cigarette taxes being up, and also investment earnings. Water and sewer are slightly down, and that's attributable to last month, July, with lower consumption of these items by the citizens. Expenses, total expenses compared to the budget expenses should be about 17%, but again, we're well below that, which means that department heads are keeping a watch on their budgets. Expenses versus prior year are up, and that's due to several factors. One is the OpenGov software was paid in July for the finance department. The splash pad equipment was paid in July for the recreation department, and the one-time contribution to the IDA was made in July-August timeframe. And last year at this point, we only had one big item, and that was the dispatch radios. Any questions on those reports? Okay, so now we're going to talk about the one you would have gotten tonight, and that's on September. For September, we earned a total of $15,470.42 at VIP. So that means we've earned a total of $95,040.37 so far with VIP. This is slightly less than previous month due to the transferring of $600,000 to make the bond payment. We earned $18,499.30 for September in the sweep accounts with Benchmark. We've earned a total of $81,744.52 so far with the Benchmark sweep accounts. LGIP is switching platforms, and at month end, the entire site was down. I reached out trying to get our statements, but we didn't receive that in time for me to submit my reports. So once we get that information next month, you will just have double the income reported in your report. In total, we earned $33,969.72 in income for September, excluding LGIP. We also made the October bond payment at the end of September. The next payment's not due to April, and that's only the interest payment. Do you guys have any questions? Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. I'm sorry. I do have one. I was scanning through the rescue squad stuff. And I noticed year to date, we're at 19,000 in contributions to the rescue squad. The one question I had, I guess, is in July and then September, there's a spike. August is $813 in materials, but then there's like almost 5,000 in July and then almost 3,000 in September. I'm just curious what those materials are, if anyone knows at this time.
I would have to investigate. Can I get that number?
Yeah,
back
yeah,
to you? Okay.
absolutely. It's just a general curiosity. Thank you. We have any other questions at this time? Not hearing any. Do I have a motion to approve the finance report as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Move into new business. And these are all the items which we had public hearings on at the beginning. The first is the request adoption of ordinance number 226. Mr. Davis, do you have anything to add to this at this time?
Just that we went over this in work sessions, and it made the changes to reflect what the council had agreed upon.
This is regarding the town code concerning garbage receptacles.
Correct.
Correct. So there is some new language that designates first warning is just kind of a freebie, and then second warning you start incurring some cost. I think the first cost is $25, and then with each subsequent warning the cost goes up a little bit.
And this will be a calendar year, so we would start January to December.
Okay.
We'll start now, but it'll end in December and start over again in January.
Right. Do we have a motion on the floor concerning the request ordinance 226?
I request we adopt ordinance number 226, amending section 22-25 of Article 2 of Chapter 22 and adding section 22-25.1 of Article 2 of Chapter 22 of the Farmville Town Code.
Second.
Motion and second. Do we have any discussion concerning this item at this time? Not hearing any. Can I get a roll call, please? Mr. Davis?
Ms. Amos?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Parrott? Mr. Yolen?
Yes.
Mr. Hunter?
Yes.
Mr. Hardy?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next item is request adoption of resolution number 2023-1001, authorizing the finance director to transfer funds within the general fund to various departments in the amount of $142,376 for the 2022-2023 budget. Do I have a motion concerning the budget transfer?
I move that we request the adoption of resolution number 2023-10-01, authorizing the finance director to transfer funds within the general fund to various departments in the general fund in the amount of $142,376.81 for FY 2022-23 budget.
Second.
Motion and second. Do we have any discussion at this time?
Was that 2023-1002 or 01?
2023. Huh? Wait, yeah. 1001. Yeah. All right, motion and second. Mr. Davis, do a roll call, please.
Mr. Dwyer,
Yes.
Mr. Yolen,
Yes.
Mr. Hunter,
Yes.
Mr. Hardy,
Yes.
Ms. Amos,
Yes.
Mr. Reed.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, another item is request adoption of resolution number 2023-1002, authorizing the finance director to transfer budgeted funds from FY 22 to 23 to FY 23-24 in the general fund, street maintenance fund, water fund, sewer fund, transportation fund, and airport fund. Do I hear a motion on the floor?
I move that we request adoption of resolution number 2023-10-02, authorizing the finance director to transfer budgeted funds from FY 22-23 to FY 23-24, pardon me, in the general fund, street maintenance fund, water fund, sewer fund, transportation fund, and airport fund.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion at this time? Not hearing any. Mr. Davis, can you do a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Yolen,
Yes.
Mr. Hunter,
Yes.
Mr. Hardy,
Yes.
Ms. Amos,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Next item is request adoption of resolution 2023-1003, amending the 23-2024 town budget. Do I hear a motion on that resolution?
I make a motion, we request adoption of resolution 2023-10-03, amending the 2023-2024 town budget.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion on this? Mr. Davis, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Hunter,
Yes.
Mr. Hardy,
Yes.
Ms. Amos,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer,
Yes.
Mr. Yolen.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. All right, last on the new business agenda is authorize town manager to sign an MOU for infrastructure improvements in Prince Edward Business Park. You have something for us there, Mr. Davis?
Yes, they needed to put in an extension sewer line, and in them doing that, we did not agree with the method that their engineer wanted to do it as far as the depth. And so in that discussion with the county administrator and I agreed that if they were to do it in that manner, that they would be responsible for any repairs, replacements, or any part of that sewer line that we didn't agree upon as far as how it would be constructed. And so they're taking on that part of the sewer line in their industrial park.
So it's a you break it, you fix it scenario.
Yeah, it's an agreed upon terms of us of the extension to serve future uses, but at the same time that if anything were to happen, that they would be responsible for that section.
Do you have any questions for Mr. Davis on that? Do I hear a motion on the floor?
You can just do by unanimous if you want to. That's up to you.
Still, oh, as far as like we don't need even to do even an informal vote, just to.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yes, sir.
Still got to have a motion to move on it.
I make a motion to authorize the town manager to sign the MOU for infrastructure improvements in Prince Edward Business Park, item number 12E.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. All right. Next item is the town manager's report. Mr. Davis.
I don't really have anything major this month, except that I appreciate you all allowing me to meet with my colleagues at the annual ICMA conference for professional development. And so I appreciate that. I will tell you that if you'll notice that the splash pad has been made into the base is there for the circle of it. And next week, we should have contractors from the company to install begin installing parts of the splash pad that they're responsible for. So you should see some more progress next week. At this point, I don't have any other updates right now.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. I'll go around the table, and I'll start with Mr. Hardy down there at the end.
Yeah, I would like to say thank you for everybody for showing up. I really appreciate you coming and speaking to us. Every time you've come, you've been here, and it is appreciated, and like he said, he will discuss that. I also wanted to make sure to bring to everybody's attention that this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but I really don't see it as just breast cancer. It is really all cancer awareness, and I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that.
Mr. Hunter?
Mr. Davis, in reference to the splash park and the things that are going out on West 3rd, are we going to have any type of videos out there just to make sure nobody tampers with the things out there? Because it's really expensive that what we're putting out there. So any security cameras, anything, have we thought about going out that way?
At this time, we do not have any cameras allocated for that area. We would have to look it out, so probably adding some type of lighting and bringing electricity. Well, it would be there for the pumps and the pump stations, but we would have to look at other security measures. But no, that's not in the actual plan for that.
Is it possible for us to get a cost on it?
Sure.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Mr. Yolen?
Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight, especially Longwood representation. And thank you very much, Deputy Chief Hogan. That's right. Really huge amount of accomplishments you've got under your belt, sir. Thank you very much for doing this for the town, working for the town.
Mr. Dwyer?
I think the building looks great. It looked like we had a power washing. It's like shining your shoes. It's something you got to do every now and then. But I thought it was great. Again, thanks to all for being here.
Mr. Reed?
Yes, I just have a concern about the traffic light on West 3rd. Is that an update?
West 3rd at North?
Yes.
I have a little bit of information, but not much, in that we're looking to find a pole for what the existing foundation is engineered for. If we cannot find a pole to match that, then we will have to have a new standard, meet the new standards. And so that means we would have to do a new foundation for a newer modification for that pole, which you're looking at possibly 6 months at the least. But Mr. Caldwell and I are talking, but they're looking for a pole that can meet the standards set forth when that was originally constructed for the base, the engineered base. But if not, newer poles, we would have to re-engineer and have a different base. So, unfortunately, that's not one of those things we have laying around standby. So for now, we have signs out, and there's a stop sign at North Street.
And people still go down the wrong way.
I would think that if it's going to be that long, I know there's been plenty of folks who have commented to me they actually kind of like the traffic pattern now. But what the only concern I have is that blind spot with the building there coming onto Third. And if maybe we could get one of those traffic mirrors of something up there so that people would be able to see traffic flow. That bring that to council at like a work session or something.
We'll look into it from an operations standpoint with Public Works.
Thanks. Ms. Amos?
No comments.
I will say that I apologize. I'm a little less energetic this evening. It is conference season, so Mr. Davis was at ICMA conference, and many of us were at a Virginia Municipal League's annual conference where Vice Mayor Reed was presiding as president of the Virginia Municipal League, and it's a great honor. The town of Farmville, his service, and all that he brings to the table, and it was a good scene up there getting to witness Mr. Reed presiding and his role as president of Virginia Municipal League. Mr. Reed and I also got to attend the Mayor's Institute prior to the VML conference, and I think both of us can say we are grateful for the council that we have and that we get to serve with, hearing some of the stories from other councils. So I appreciate everybody's efforts up here. Before I go into my sort of spiel where I run down meetings and such, I will address the ICA issue. As far as being transparent and open, I sat with the Longwood Communications Departments, and they do a live interview, and I did a live interview with them, and they asked me about the ICA facility, and I responded at that time about the extension and the reasons behind it. I also spoke to students who were writing articles for the Rotunda about that as well. I also spoke with a lawyer and somebody else associated with one of the advocate groups shortly after the extension and explained what had happened as well. So we are more than willing to speak about anything. The council and myself we were upset that the contract landed on our table at the 9th hour. And that did spur some movement on our part. We passed a motion and passed a vote to look at ways to get out of that contract. And that is what's happening. And I often say this, I envy sometimes advocates or activists because you can zero in on an issue and look at it very sharply from one perspective and bring all your passion to bear there. And it's great, that's part of democracy and it's essential. But as a governing body, we often have to take what I would say maybe a slightly wider view, right? Like this is our community, this is our town, and we have to take this wider view on how these things affect everyone in our town. And so while the concerns about detainees are taken to heart, we have other concerns to consider as well. And I can attest personally that I had multiple people reach out from this community who are employed there or who have relatives who are employed there, good paying jobs. One individual reached out to me and was concerned because she's supposed to get married this month, and she was concerned that her fiance was going to lose his job. What did that mean for their future? So these are concerns that we have to take into consideration as well, not just that concern, but we have to kind of broadly look at all the concerns and do what's best for the town. And that contract came up, and the ICA folks are investigating a way to make a direct contract with the federal government. And in the interim, they asked for an extension. And individually, every council member agreed to grant that extension. Because, for various reasons, but I think one of them was to protect some of what is important here in this town, which is the constituents and the citizens of this town. So this council is still moving in the direction of investigating getting out. But as we said that night, we're going to do it in a responsible way that still honors our responsibility to the citizens of this town. And I think that they've done that. I think that we've done that. And so I believe it was Mr. Reed who said, just be patient. Let us work through the process. There has been forward momentum. And we will see what the fruit of that bears. That's where we are at this time concerning the ICA facility. And those are my direct opinions. I don't intend in any way, shape, or form to speak for this body. They can speak for themselves individually, but trust that everybody up here takes your comments to heart and deliberates earnestly on them. Moving into, no ma'am. Thank you though. Moving into sort of my mayor rundown and my continual efforts to be transparent about all my meetings and goings. I gave a convocation speech to the senior class at Longwood University this past month and really enjoyed that festivity. I had never gone to the capping ceremony before, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Shrimp Fest for the Lions Club was then that night as well, which was a great event and so much fun to see everybody there. Chief was there manning the shrimp pot, and wonderful shrimp as always. Then we had the Heart of Virginia Festival, which was once again a big hit, and I know dear to Mr. Yolen's heart, and he would like to continue to see that festival grow and become a hallmark for the area. NAACP annual banquet was that night, and they honored Board of Supervisors Ms. Odessa Pride and Ms. Patty Cooper Jones for being the first and second African-American women elected to the chair of the Board of Supervisors for Prince Edward County. So it was a pretty cool annual event there. Had Christmas tree lighting meetings with the Farmville Downtown Partnership and the Farmville Area Chamber of Commerce as we plan that event. My first at the Switch. And that event is now Sunday, November 19th. So we'll all keep our fingers crossed that the switch flips and the lights do come on. I met with a Longwood student who spoke at the last council meeting concerning the ICA facility, and actually had him at my house, and we sat on the back porch and discussed that issue amongst a myriad of others. He was going to write an article and had some questions, and was an outstanding young man, and he's asked to shadow me in one of my days as mayor, and I told him gladly. And so you'll most likely see him one of these days as shadowing behind me. He's a good young man who seems very interested in leadership. We had National Night Out, October 3rd. Fellowship with Town of Farmville Police Department and the Prince Edward County Sheriff's Department and all the rescue squads and a bunch of booths out there, and it was a great scene at the fairgrounds. I would tell everybody to keep that on your mind for next year. It was a lot of fun. The National Guard was out there with a climbing wall and a big bouncy house and lots of food, and it was just great to be out there and hanging out with the community. And then, like I said, we attended the Mayor's Institute and the Virginia Municipal League Conference this past weekend, where you fellowship with fellow elected leaders from across the Commonwealth and attend various seminars and workshops so that you can hopefully glean some information that you can bring to your home community to help continue to make it a better place for all. So that was the comings and goings for the mayor this past month. I thank you all for attending Professor Hodges' class. Thank you for attending as well. You guys got a relatively short one, so you get to get out of here. Unlike your compatriots last week, had a little bit longer venue, but appreciate you being here. And with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.